This video is a complete guide of Rogue and Marbles. Rogue is a 5-star melee tank with lots of secrets to her kit. And if you play her a ton, maybe you can learn something new. We're going over her abilities, combos, and possibly showcasing some games to give a show of how I play her. She has 675 health, and her first ability, her primary fire, is Power Surge Punch. She does a right hook, left hook, before doing a big punch forward. It's very good to deal just continuous damage, and when you're in the brawl stage of a team fight, it's very good for just punching into, let's say, a shield tank like a mag, or if a mag or strange is sitting in front holding shield, you are able to just sit here and punch their shield. Her right click is a shield that is on a resource meter, visible with the white bar on the right side of your screen. It doesn't completely negate damage like a regular shield, and instead it mitigates it a ton. And as you can see, when you absorb damage, a little yellow bar will begin to grow next to it. This bar increases the damage of her alternative right click called Southern Burn, where when you are using your what's this thing called? Your defensive stance. When you're defensive stancing, you'll gain the ability to dash forward with Southern Brawl, and this does piercing damage, and also it scales with the damage that you block with defensive stance. So if you block a very high power projectile, or just like a big shot, like if you peek and you take a bunch of damage from Pokeslop characters, then you will just be able to burst down someone really quickly. This ability usually is going to start off really weak, not doing that much damage. Yeah, it only does about a bar and a half, most likely, to Penny Park. But at max charge, it can do up to like 130 damage, which does basically half of a squishy. Like, her first, and honestly, in my opinion, her major ability is Fatal Attraction. You dash forward, and then you can reactivate it. You'll do a circle of Chronovium that does tick damage, and then after 2 seconds, you'll pull everyone into you. The window of being able to pull someone in is visible by a white circle above above the ability icon on your toolbar. I don't think that has an alternative name. No, it does not. This ability is very good for not only getting in, but it increases her kill power when used in conjunction with other abilities, because the pull animation is very slow and you can be interrupted during it, and so a lot of her abilities can be used at the same time as the pull animation to actually cancel them. As you can see there, I still did the pull, but I did Southern Burn instead. So you can animation cancel her Fatal Attraction pull animation. Her next ability is Chrono Kick Combo. You do a dash forward before kicking, and if you hit someone, you kick them up in the air, and you gain the ability to fly for a few seconds. I'd say it's like 3 or 4 seconds. You then get the option to dive down onto a target and do a big burst of Chronovium. Then, if you can see on the left side, you'll get your primary fire changes. When you hit someone, or actually just when you dash, your primary becomes 2 charges of a ranged kick shot. These kicks pierce enemies, so I didn't hit it right, but yes, they do pierce enemies. They hit both of these Galactobots at the same time. And whenever you hit every enemy hit by one of the projectiles, and you have 2 charges, the same duration of, like, the same visible icon as the Fatal Attraction duration, you also get them for this new primary fire, and you only get 2 of them after every use of Chrono Kick Combo. And you don't have to land Chrono Kick Combo, so you can if you're playing, like, let's say this is a quarter and there's a bunch of people over there, you can, and then get back down and get a little shield. because for every enemy hit, Rogue gains I'd say that's like 50 shield, which is very good, because if you take a bunch of damage, if you were to take a bunch of damage, then you would be able to just mid-combo, if you're taking damage from a support, like they're missing shots trying to heal your target, and instead you are healing. Last ability is probably her most iconic. It's her ability absorption. So here, I'll showcase ability absorption. A character that you can actually absorb an ability from. Let's do Strange. Strange is like that one. So, as above Strange's model, you'll see a icon. That is the ability that you can steal from Doctor Strange by landing your F ability. See, I used my Siphon on Doctor Strange, and now I gain a short little duration that I can use as shield. Another thing, you'll not only around Rogue, but also on the right side of the screen, you can see who you recently siphoned and how long you have left with their abilities. Let's say another thing, you not only siphon their ability, well, some heroes, you can't siphon everybody. The best way that I determine, to know in my head, instead of trying to look at the icon in the middle of a fight to know if I want to try and grab an ability, is do these characters use technology to do their stuff? So, for example, Hela. She has magic god death powers, and you can take her abilities. But a character like Punisher, he doesn't have powers. He's just a regular dude. Same with Iron Man, Black Panther, Hawkeye, a bunch of honestly, a majority of the DPS. But normal people like Black Cat, you're not going to gain anything from Black Cat unless you want feline senses. In conjunction to gaining their abilities, you also gain their life force. If you siphon a Punisher or a DPS, you will gain a temporary damage boost, and they will actually have a damage downgrade. They will deal less damage, and you will do more damage. You can see every time you siphon a DPS, you can tell you have the damage boost because of the up arrows surrounding Rogue's model and the down arrows surrounding their model. And for tanks, let's do grouped. For tanks, if you siphon a tank, you will gain 175 temporary HP, and this goes away either when they drop you below 800 HP, it'll go back to normal, or when the tank siphon goes away. And then for supports, when you siphon a support, they get a downgrade to their healing, and you gain healing over time. Whenever you land the Siphon ability on someone, you heal a little bit of HP. Alright, after siphoning Cloak and Dagger, I will have slight healing over time in conjunction to an ability, which Cloak and Dagger definitely gives one of the better Rogue steals, because not all of her steals are very useful. So, for example, you're not really going to do much with her double jump. I mean, it's useful, but you're not going to do much as with Squirrel Girl double jump as you are being able to sleep someone. So, her Siphon is definitely a lot of game sense. I like to use it as not only hard CC to stop divers, as during this animation, you can't break out of it unless you CC Rogue. But she is CC immune during the actual animation, but not during the dash. You can CC her during the dash, because it is another dashboard. Another thing about her Siphon has a lot to it. Let's say, here, let me put it on the new guy. I'm going to do it on Devil Dinosaur. As you can see, I have Siphon off cooldown, and there's no icon above Devil Dinosaur's head, which means I cannot steal an ability from him. If I use Fatal... Here. Let me instead... Here. So you see how my Fatal Attraction is on cooldown? When I land Siphon, it resets the cooldown with Fatal Attraction. So I'm able to Fatal Attraction in, Siphon a target that does not have an icon, and then get my Fatal Attraction to go back out. So here, I'll show it again in 10 seconds. I like to use the Fatal Attraction reset, especially against characters like Devil Dinosaur, because you are able to do a lot of combos off of the reset that you can't normally do. So here, I'll show again. It's on 12-second cooldown. I use Siphon, and I instantly get it back, in conjunction to the tank buffs that you get from siphoning a tank. And this is for any character that you cannot steal an ability from. Like Devil Dinosaur, Black Cat, you can't steal from Rogue herself. You can't steal from Rogue, all of the Deadpools, basically a lot of the technological characters. Some really good ones that you can steal though. Iron Fist is a good one, as you gain his shield. This is a really good one. A lot of the supports have really good one. Because you are able, this gives you Beacon, Moon, Sleep, Bubble, or Terror, like the Blind, Freeze, Soulbind, Bubble. All of the support ones are good, except for the two that you can't siphon from, and you can't siphon from these three. All of the support ones are good to siphon. The tanks actually don't have a lot. Emma lets give you your diamond form, which is also pretty good, but you can't siphon from a lot of tanks. Mag carries tank. Mag, Emma, and I'd say Thor, because Thor, he has his lightning mode. Yeah, his awakened state. And for DPS, some really good ones would be a lot of the Daredevil is a really good one, because you gain speed and damage reduction when you target someone with the Sonic Pursuit. But there's actually not a lot of variety for these. Magic is a good one. Magic is a really good one. Blade and Wolverine are a really good one, because you instantly activate it and you gain a lot of buffs. Like Blade gives you lifesteal on all of your attacks, which is very good for Rogue, because you're doing a lot of burst damage and damage over time with your Fatal Attraction and combos. But mostly just stuns and basically just stuns and things that'll keep you alive. Those are the good ones. So Mag Bubble, Cloak Bubble, or like Cloak and Dagger Bubble, Luna Freeze, Invis Pool. I can't really give a thorough explanation onto every single one of them, or a use for all of them, because you're not really gonna get a good use out of them. They're useful. Like Invis Pool especially is very useful. So let's say Invis, I dive at Invis and I siphon her and she jumps away, I can just pull her right back to me, and she won't be able to go anywhere. Rogue has one team up with Gambit called what's this one? When you activate it, you get a little duration monster, and on every hit you do splash damage. Splash damage not only goes onto enemies, but it heals allies and Rogue herself. And this splash affects enemies as well. This team up is honestly, as fun as Rogue is, she is not a very strong tank. She is definitely not the worst tank when compared to other tank characters. Like, I would say Rogue is significantly better than Hulk when it comes to, like, she's not the worst tank in the game, especially when you get really good at her, but she's definitely not as good as the other dive, like the rest of the dive role, or dive category. And finally, Rogue's ultimate. On activation, you get 8 seconds, and you get a big green bubble, and you get a tether of AoE tick damage, just tick damage on each target. And as you can see on the right side, you get the similar buffs to as if you were siphoning someone. So if I wish there was a way I could get another person. Okay, so let's say I just dived into the team and I caught my ult. Not only do I gain the buffs from Penny Parker, but if I run over here, I start getting the buffs of the support. So you can stack a damage boost, healing over time, and increase HP all onto a incredibly fast-moving Rogue. So her ult is very strong. Another thing about her ult is I'm pretty sure it does not do the same debuffs that Siphon does. I'm pretty sure. I'll actually test that. I'm still learning new stuff despite having Lord. So here, let me change to pop my ult. It does actually. So her ult damage reduces support characters and damage gives healing reduction to supports that are in her ult, and it does a damage reduction to DPS that are in her ult. But you do not gain like a bunch of abilities. Like if I ult like a whole team of Cloak and Daggers, I will not gain 6 bubbles. That would be pretty crazy. Let's say this Cloak and Dagger had her ult available. When I pop my ult, I will be able to see next to her health ult percentage. And depending on how much ult they have charged up, so let's say that Cloak and Dagger had 100% of her ult, I would actually start draining her ult charge in a term called Heartbreaker Energy. And but I'm pretty sure this. I'm not pretty sure. I'm confident. Depending on if they have high ult remaining, depending on how high their ult charge is how much you steal. So if they have full ult, you'll bring it down to like 80, 75. But if they have like 40% ult charge, you won't take anything. To balance out being able to, like, fresh out of a fight, to just drop support's ult from 50 to 30 instead of letting them gain it. So it's only really used after one or two team fights because you're able to knock them back 20% on their ult economy. And this team-wide 20% off their ult economy. Combos. Rogue, due to all of her movement abilities and her high burst damage, Rogue is a very, very quick. She's very easy to get a kill. One of Rogue's main combos is Fatal Attraction. You can do something like that, where you Fatal Attraction and reactivate it as you're dashing to them. Primary, Southern Brawl. And then you can either primary twice again to kill, or let's say I'm on someone that has a bit more health. Pretty sure she's. Yeah, let's do like Wolverine has more health. Primary, Southern Brawl, upper kick. So it's honestly depending on the character, because against weaker characters, if you can land the perfect combo against like a weaker character, then you can kill them very quickly by just... So yeah, she has a lot of mix-ups. There's no real one combo, because I can do a lot like of various mix-ups. I can do something like that, or I can do the same thing I just did. She's a lot of mix-ups. You can go back and slow them down if you'd like. Something like that, and you save a charge. Because of your window, because of the duration where you can reactivate the Fatal Attraction pool, it's actually better not to activate it immediately, and instead what you can do is you can engage with it, and then during the duration that you can reactivate it, you continue to build distance. So let's say this Luna was really far away from me and she has like a tank standing right there, or like right there. I could hop over, boom, Luna's dead, and then I can run right back out. So it's very her combos, it's a lot of mix-ups. You can kind of just experiment, but the main way you combo is kind of just that, because I can do this and save a charge. Some stuff about her kit, especially her uppercut. You only want to do, like, let's say you do this, you only want to do one shot of the kit, because if you do two, like if you try and fly and do both, they will actually fall out of the dive and you won't be able to do the full strength dive. Because if I don't land it perfectly, I think I should. If I don't land, like if I land on top of her, it doesn't do that much damage. But if I land directly, it does more damage. And so, especially for the dive, let's say I do this and I use both, it might be a little tricky if they're moving around a bunch in order to land both at the same time. Some combos against certain tanks. So I actually like to play Rogue in Devil Dinosaur, despite his CC immunity, so I can't uppercut him, and he could grab me through in like a bad situation. So, something you're able to do to Devil Dinosaur because of Fatal Attraction resetting on a successful Siphon. And I'm pretty sure if I did it correctly the first time, it would have been actually able to kill him quickly. Or he might need to team up, I can't remember. But she has a lot of mix-ups to her depending on who you're playing, like who you're about to dive. And this another thing is that you can actually use a lot of her like copies in a combo. So let's say I siphon Spider-Man. Okay, she's freestyle. So here, let's say Spider-Man in the backline. I don't know what I'm doing. You just gotta mix it up, you know? The Siphon and her combos you can just free ball it until you find something that you're able to do consistently. And the team up makes everything stronger. Like the team up is it makes her one of the best, like probably the best thing in the game, but only when she has the team up. And Gambit is one of the most played supports. So this Rogue also received buffs recently. Her defensive stance and her Fatal Attraction got her Fatal Attraction, it used to be 14 seconds and not 12 seconds. And then her block, the decrease of the resource is they decreased how much it decreases and increased how much damage, the damage ratio when you absorb damage with the shield. That is about it. I think I can put two